even Currency, who's older than, I'm pretty sure Currency's older than you, or
Currency's older than us.
and so, but
Currency might be early 40s now. Let's find out. Podcast in 101. Go ahead though.
if I had to guess, Currency's probably like 39.
I think that's a good guess. Currency is 40. He turned 40 on April 4th, man. Happy 40th
Oh
birthday,
shit!
Currency. Jet Life. I listened to his new album though. His new album's it's a Currency album. I mean,
With the
if you fuck
Kush
with
through the
Currency,
sunroof,
yeah.
Mercedes gun proof, yeah, like so, like because. So yeah, like the point I'm even for that song, like I wish that song was longer, but
Guess
he
how many
has like
studio albums he has? Not to cut you off,
he
because I
has
was
too
wondering
fucking
this.
many.
He's
He
up.
has
He
too
only has
fucking many.
10. I thought he had at least 15. He only has 10. Give me
That
three mixtapes
does
though.
okay. So I mean, we're I don't know if you even need an intro. We can just actually just keep going,
And 25
s-
EPs. Yeah, that
but
we'll
that's the
start with the
thing.
Currency. Yeah, it's fine.
In 2021, what is an album? Everything's like no one buys physical anything anymore.
Nope.
Even buying music from iTunes, like no one really does that anymore. Everything's streaming. So if everyone's streaming original music, you know, what's the difference between a mixtape and the album? Like you can't do mixtapes with unoriginal music anymore. Like
No.
you'll get sued. So it's kind of, so it's like, I mean, there's like, I think honestly, I think a mixtape now should really just be like DJs who put together random songs and they put out their shit or whatever on live mixtapes or on whatever mixtape platform.
Right.
But there's no purpose of Currency unless, I mean, I guess unless you get the samples clear, like there's no purpose of Currency like just making a project and calling it a mixtape anymore. Like that just doesn't really compute anymore.
I don't know. Like he has like 25 EPs, which is
Yeah,
insane.
and they're like 4 songs, 5 songs.
Right.
And that's the thing, like Currency continually records so much. Like
He's Pac.
it's
He's
I
Pac like when it
mean,
comes to recording, at least. And Wayne like.
yeah, it's kind of I don't know, not to say he's a bad rapper or he doesn't have fans.
Right.
I don't personally know like super Currency fans, but I remember I used to download his mixtapes, but I wouldn't get to them because I was just listening to other stuff, but then I kept noticing he kept putting out
More
projects.
music. Right.
So it's kind of like, where do you start? Like if I'm a person even trying to get into Currency in 2021, like I don't like it's I think the first project I listened to Currency all the way through, it was one of the uh Jet Lights. I think it was like
Oh yeah. Like I was just looking at Jet
oh,
Life 1 and Jet Life 2 was like the first albums he put out because they came out with Dame Dash. He was running around the Rockefeller chain. Everybody's like, yo, why you got a Rockefeller chain? He's like, oh, Dame gave it to me. And then him and Dame immediately got in a fight after the second album dropped. And they never worked
that's
together again.
that's very on brand for Dame Dash,
Oh
is
my God.
that
Yeah.
we all know. But it's I think it was maybe like, do you remember he had a I guess it was a mixtape. I definitely listened to Stone Immaculate, but Stone Immaculate was like the second one I think I listened to.
Hmm.
Um it was his album cover, it was all green, it was obviously like weed and like
Oh
jets and
yeah.
shit.
That I was just on there. That was Pilot
Um
Talk 1.
yeah,
That
Pilot
was his
Talk,
third
yeah.
album, but that was the one that had the green on it. And then I think Pilot Talk 2 is orange. No, it was like this pink yellowish thing.
Or something
Was
like that. But that's the thing, like we shouldn't like we shouldn't have to kind of pick our brain to what the third or fourth Currency album was. Like if you ask me like what's Drake's third album, like it's nothing was the same. Like
right. Nothing was the same.
you know,
You
like you don't
almost
have to
messed it
think
up, but
about
you got it.
that. Take Care was the second one. And so even so on Spotify, they just have Pilot Talk Trilogy. And so it's like three and so it's like three, oh my god, it's like three mixtapes, 41 songs rolled into one playlist. And it's
Wow.
like I can't tell someone to start at a 41 project thing that recorded over a long period of time.
Right.
I love the Fetty album he did with Alchemist and Freddie Gibbs. Like
Shout
Fetty
out to
was
Freddie. I'm up on game now. Shout out to Freddie.
what Freddie have you listened to and what Freddie do you like?
I've listened to both Alchemist albums.
Okay.
And then
Hold
or
on, what's the
not
second
Alchemist, I'm
out?
sorry. Sorry. Listen to both of the
Madlib?
Mad Libs albums, and then I listened to the Alchemist album. So those are the three
Okay.
Freddies that I'm familiar with now.
Okay. Um I would say well, so out of the three, what's your favorite one?
My favorite is Bandana.
Okay.
Bandana
Good answer.
is my answer.
Good answer. Good
Even
answer.
though that Mac Miller verse on Pinata hits different every time I listen to it. Did you see he dropped Freddie dropped the um bonus, well, whatever they call it, deluxe Pinata now? Did you see that?
No, I did not.
All right, good. Don't look at it yet. Because I looked
Okay.
at it the other day and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna check this out. There must be some unreleased stuff. So Pinata Deluxe Edition 2021. It has, Marcus. Now some of these are instrumentals and there's a lot of remixes. It has 81 songs on it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
81 songs, 3 hours, 50 minutes.
Yes. Yep.
So he just
80.
put every remix on this bitch.
Yes, he did. He's like, give me my streams. Give me my streams. Exactly.
And that's the thing, like this, like so God damn. Jesus Christ. So there's new like regular verses on this, right? Because there's like a lot of there's just a lot to this, man. There's a fucking lot to this. God damn.
There is. Like I was going to add it to my playlist, but I was like, I can't do 81 songs of instrumentals remixes. Like I'll crash the car trying to skip stuff. And I don't got time for that.
Because there's more. So basically the original Pinata is 17 songs.
Right.
But there's more than just 17 like non-instrumental songs on here. So I guess he put more, I guess he tacked on just sort of more shit that
he had laying around.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with, and that's the kind of thing with the streaming era. It's like everyone's just putting the shit up just to get the streams up, and it's like, I mean that's kind of the nature of the beast, what it is now. Shout out to Weekend who he cleared all the samples for the OG House of Balloons.
Yeah, I'm gonna. That's in my playlist. I'm gonna be listening to that again for the first time in 10 years,
God.
literally.
I love that mixtape so much.
I know you did.
Yeah, man.
You rode real hard for the Weekend, man, and I was always kind of like, he's fine.
I mean, I'm really big on the theatrical of like theatrics, the drama, the Molly use, the models, and the cocaine. Like
the Molly use.
I mean, that shit is like it's so funny because it's like when I first listened to Weekend's album, mixtape back then, I guess it was technically a mixtape because he wasn't selling it
right
until he did the trilogy. But when I listened to House of Balloons and Thursday, even House of Balloons, just like the audacity of this guy, just like not giving a fuck about talking about doing cocaine and doing all these wild ass drugs, like it just blew my mind of how
what a time, man.
Yeah, man. That was like my last year. That was my last year of college. I graduated in 11 and came out in 11. So I was listening to that like while I was transitioning. And then I still lived in Morgantown, obviously after that. But like 2011, 2012 was still fun because I was living with an old roommate who was still in school, but it was still a buffer of when I had like real responsibility. So like that whole 2011 2012 was still mad fun. And I listened to Thursday in 2012 probably more than any other project. Like
see, I was hung up on Ultra Nostalgia. That's what I was listening to, was the Frank.
Yeah, I was late on Nostalgia Ultra. I didn't listen to Nostalgia Ultra until
Nostalgia Ultra. I sound like a dumbass. Go ahead. Ultra Nostalgia. That Ocean Frank.
I listened to it until about 2013, I believe. So I was like late, but
Oh yeah, you were real late.
yeah.
That's okay though. Because it's funny. I mean, we've went down this road so many times, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more, and then we're going to launch into the actual show. But not that the show's not already started, but we've talked about how the vlog era there was just so much music being out there that even though we're all going to the same sources to get our music, we could each come away with five different things in other person, but then still have five things that match the other people that they downloaded from there too. So that's just how things work back then, man.
Yeah, man. That was a time like that. Obviously, we're going to get into Watch the Throne, which I think that album really signified, and that was another album that I was listening to like on my way out of college. I was in New York City when Watch the Throne dropped.
Ooh.
So yeah. So
Ooh.
everywhere was buzzing. I still remember when I heard, the album. I remember exact spot I was in New York City when I listened to the album. I was with my homegirl, Cindy, with her niece and her niece Cassie and her mom Rosa, R.I.P. I love you. We were listening to that jump when it dropped, man. Like it was like a bomb, yo. Like that
Hmm.
shit was so crazy when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're going to get into all that about both albums. So, um, yeah. But before we get into the episode proper, though, I didn't know if you wanted to do this now or if you want to do it later. I kind of had my chance to speak about everything that happened with DMX this past week, 2 episodes ago. So I didn't know if you had any thoughts you wanted to share about DMX before we get into the Jay-Z portion of the show.
So for me, I wrote about it. I don't think I'm going to post it. I wrote about it like privately, but I don't know if I'm actually going to post it or not. But for me, DMX, I see a lot of people have said this about him before, but I just got to reiterate, like he was a superhero. Like when I would talk about DMX, I think about when I was in public school. I was in, when Party Up dropped, and obviously the intro, like the intro for eighth graders in America during a pep rally for the DJ to play that song, drop out the Suck My Dick. But then every eighth grader in the auditorium, eighth grader and seventh graders in the auditorium to yell out "Suck my dick" in perfect unison, and they shut down the pep rally because of that one moment. I will literally never forget that moment.
X ruined your
Like,
pep rally.
nah, he said that bitch off, bro. He said that bitch off because it was like, what do you like? Because I remember vividly, it was coming up, and I was like, I know they're not gonna play it, but I know everyone's gonna say it. And then, and your man's been in jail before. They dropped the beat. It was like call and response. It was call and response. They set it up, and oh man, that shit was so cold,
Yo, the
bro.
Party
Like
Up video was him being a black superhero. The whole video,
it,
man.
it absolutely was, man. Like I used to tell people DMX was the hardest nigga in the universe, and that was like no cap. Like that
No
shit was
cap.
all facts, man. Like it's just this the thing about what made that era so special, transitioning away from the shiny suit era, the jiggy era, and I think in a lot of ways we kind of knew it was bullshit. Like even seeing like the puffy videos and the platinum and the flashy shit, like we kind of saw it as things to obtain, but it was so glamorous that it could only be in a rap video.
Right.
And for DMX, the Locks, Eve, and Dragon to to come with this like super realness, Like everything felt authentic. Like there's not a single Styles P bar that I have never not believed him. Like of all the
So
rappers that we want to
authentic.
talk about that live their raps, DMX and Styles P, like they have to be in the top 5 of that.
Oh yeah.
And I still remember Cash Money Rough Rider tour going to that in DC at the
Oh,
Verizon Center back
you
then.
suck. You
Like,
suck.
and so it's kind of like, and I've always been a Locks guy. Like, especially think
Same.
about this. The Locks had an album called We Are the Street. The first rap song on We Are the Street is called Fuck You.
Fuck you.
No other rap group can do that and get
Bum,
away
bum,
with it.
bum, 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 bum,
Like,
bum, bum.
and then DMX was the center to that. DMX was the son to that.
Yes.
When I still like the first time I watched the Get At Me Dog video, it blew my fucking mind of how grimy it was, like how gutter it was, and the
Same.
subsequent hits after that. The first time I listened to, the first time I heard DMX was on the Money Power Respect, and it's kind of like, yo,
24
this
Hours to Live was the first time I heard X.
like that's a great song, like that's
Yeah.
an absolute
Yeah.
great song, and it's kind of like this dude from New York, like it's obviously he reps like Yonkers, whatever, but it's kind of like he's the hardest person any hood you ever met. And but the thing is, like, he's so authentic that you're intimidated by him, but there's this attractiveness that you have to him. And then you saw him outside of the music be extremely personal with people and
Yeah.
giving. And I still remember backstage, the backstage concert movie where the little kid was backstage and he held up like this silver race car, and he looks in the camera, he's like, guess who gave this to me? DMX. And he signed it. And I was like, bro, weren't you robbing niggas? Why are you this sweet? I love it. Like, it was so, bro, like, and the idea of him on stage spinning these hard ass songs and then ending, with the prayer, and then him breaking down like every night,
Every
like
single night.
like there was just something about DMX that he gave so much to the public and to people, and in a lot of ways, like we never reciprocated it. And I'm not, talking about, I'm not gonna disparage people in his family, his friends, whatever, but it's just one of those things to where the lesson really is, one, we don't want to disparage people that have addiction problems. Like they're human beings just like us and they need help just like us,
Absolutely.
maybe even more. And he was a person that had a traumatic childhood.
Yeah.
And even the way he turned out, he was still such a giving person that, granted, there's a lot of his music that's hyper violent and homophobic. He does have homophobic bars or whatever. And I'm not dismissing that. At the same time, when you were around him and you saw what his light was, the music was really a shell because he was just responding to his terrible environment. Like if he hadn't had that childhood, you can imagine him just being like a teacher or a mentor or someone that just
Wow.
like that did like public service in some kind of way. Like the world when he was a kid, it tried to break him. And even though he kind of lost his battle with addiction, he did a lot to try to not let that happen. And he gave a lot to a lot of different people. And I think it's really beautiful that a lot of these stories that came out about him surfaced. And I think he was someone that did feel love while he was here. Obviously, there were some people that made some terrible jokes, about his addiction. For his real fans, I never saw that, so we
No.
knew what it was. We were always rooting for him. You know, his addiction. To be very honest, like he was such a giving person. I knew his behavior was erratic, and I didn't even want to accept that he did drug. I don't want to say what drugs he did on this. If you listen, you want to find out, go research. But I I couldn't accept that he did that until he actually said it, and I was so saddened
Yeah.
that he got caught up in that way. But um, I just think he was a person that gave so much, and for me, a eighth grader, you know, always like constantly searching for like the thing, you know, you're a sponge and you're trying to soak up everything and pop culture and your school and your friends and rap. And he was someone that was authentic, and you always felt like if DMX want to keep it real, like I got to keep it real. Like me and my friends, like yeah, Cash Money in DC, No Limit in DC, like they were popping, but we had them Rough Rider bandanas, bro.
Yes.
Like we are the streets. It's dark and hell is hot. Like I was banging those shits in my room,
I
bro.
forgot that I started wearing my bandana like DMX wore his in Rough Riders Anthem, man, with the little flag hanging off the side of it and stuff.
Yeah,
I had a Raiders bandana, and I used to wear my bandana specifically because he had the Rough Riders bandana, wearing it like
yeah.
that in the video, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. And shout out to my homeboy, one of my best friend I grew up with, Morel. Like me and him, like we were like the biggest DMX fans, and I think he was a bigger DMX fan than I was. And I still remember on the bus rides listening to uh Flesh My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, like going like on a school trip, not giving
Right.
a fuck about the trip, listening to the CD, man. Like, the album cover, shout out to
Iconic.
Jonathan Mannion,
Shout out
but
to Jonathan Mannion.
yeah, man, like, I love rap so much because there's a deep history of music, art, dance, storytelling, everything. And that era in particular for me, that's the era when I like really got into music. That's the era when I was getting CDs on my own.
Hmm.
In 2000 I had my own computer, so I was bootlegging music then.
Same,
So I
same.
was listening even more music, the TRL and the 106 in Park era. um it was just all the time. And DMX, he was the hottest rapper in the game in a time when rap was people were finally accepting, or maybe not even them, but rap was really blossoming to be pop culture. And so while Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, like they were, top on the Pop Tart charts and played on TRL, Rough Riders, Cash Money, Eminem, uh, Snoop, Dre, um, they were there, like they were the background for that shit too. And this music in a lot of ways has lasted longer than that music that was number one on TRL.
Yes.
And
Yes, it
oh
has.
my, and in the fucking what's my name video, I remember when that shit premiered, man. Like
Bro, yes. I was getting
in
ready
the
to bring
J
up your tweet about we need a behind oral history of all the cameos in the What's My Name video.
like even the I still remember the first time I saw Jay-Z pop up in the video, I was like, home. Like it was just oh my god, bro. It was just a
It's
fucking
3 seconds.
time.
It's 3 seconds. That's all he does.
That's all he
And then he's
does,
out.
bro.
He's out,
Like
man.
I
He's
still
still
remember
acting up.
the making of the video for that, man. Like
I
back when
thought there
making
was
the
a making a
video
video
was
for it. Yeah, yeah.
there
Isn't that
was, yeah.
crazy?
Yeah, man. So and that's the thing. The funny thing, last year I was trying to buy a Rough Rider hockey jersey from the Rough Riders website, but they wouldn't fucking sell it to me.
Why? It wasn't working?
I guess not, man. And that shit was like that shit was kind of expensive. It was like
All right.
$130, but
roughriders.com or whatever site you're on, please send my man's in them a Rough Riders
absolutely.
hockey jersey because he was unable to purchase it last year and he's very upset. It's still haunts him to this day, as you can hear.
Yeah, man. And so I guess, the last thing that we'll kind of leave with DMX, you know, like I said before, man, like DMX, we love you. We'll definitely
Very
miss you.
much.
Your spirit of giving will continue that legacy, man. Like we'll continue the legacy of championing people who, young men and women who are in, these terrible situations, group homes, public assistance living. These people are humans too. So if you see someone who's in that kind of messed up situation, man, like don't ignore them, like hear them out, like even be friendly to
Yeah.
them. Like if they wave at you, just wave back, man. Like we really need, especially with COVID, like we really need to get back to human interactions and human relations. So,
Yeah.
try as best as possible not to be closed out from that, man, and try to be as giving as best as possible. If we all give, man, we'll all receive, man. So, Dark Man X forever.
And that's your words of wisdom for today. Very well said, Marcus. Um, one last thing I want to say about X, probably won't be the last thing on this pod, but still, um, he dropped the Locks. They had an album come out this past summer, and they had a song with DMX on there. The album was called Living Off Experience. The song was called Bout Shit. They got a video out for it, and I watched that video, and like X did what X did, and I was just so excited to see that X was back, and he was making music, and there's interviews out there like the Drink Champs interview where he's talking about the music he's made. I'm sure in the next year or so that'll find its way into the airwaves and things like that. But to hear him still be able to do what he loved to do on this bout shit track, it just the future was bright, and then it's sad that it closed like this, but definitely love me some X-Men. So yeah, I just wanted to get your opinion on that because I knew that you weren't with me when I was talking about it prior to his death. All right, man. So welcome to Hyphen Nation. In case y'all ain't know already, Barack Obama approved world's greatest podcast. I am Kellen Conley. That's Marcus Show and Mad Love Robinson,
Chia.
my semi-regular co-host, and we're here not just to talk about currency and DMX's untimely passing. We're here to talk about anniversaries because when there's an anniversary, you know that my ass is going to bring it up. So I realized there's actually 4 Jay-Z album anniversaries coming up. There is the 25th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt. There is the 20th anniversary of The Blueprint, the 15th anniversary of Kingdom Come, and the 10th anniversary of Watch the Throne. So I said, hey, Marcus, if you have any interest in this, do you want to do these pods? And of course, he charged me his normal fee, which was nothing. And then here we are. So we're going to go into the first 2 albums tonight, and then we're going to go into Blueprint and Reasonable Doubt on the second part of this podcast in the next episode. But I figure I'm going to let the guest choose what we talk about first. I have a feeling I know where he's going to go because I kind of want to get it out of the way first. But Marcus, your choice.
Actually, I would actually rather talk about Throne first.
Okay.
Because I think that Kingdom Come, it's so wishy-washy that I think talking about the candy first, I think that may be a bit more lively to kind of kick things off.
I guess we do need to pick things up after your impressive monologue for DMX there. So that makes sense. So Watch the Throne. Marcus, you said you were in New York City when you first heard this.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your first take of this album was? And then I'll follow up with another question after that. So what was your first take of Watch the Throne, first listen? Do you remember?
Classic.
No question.
I mean, that's like I was just so hyped listening to the album, and obviously there's the couple of tracks that leaked. I still remember, I remember when that's my bitch leaked, and when the album came on, I was like so hyped. I was rapping along to it, and then a new portion of Jay's verse came on. I was like, oh shit.
They changed it, right?
Yeah, and so even the production, that kind of changed a little bit. They kind of mixed it a little bit better, but I remember being thoroughly impressed. We definitely listened to it a couple of times in a row. The synergy was really just there, man. It sucks because I could have went to Watch the Throne when they came to DC. I was in DC, but I didn't want to go to the concert by myself, which is in 2021 is a really terrible excuse to not do anything. But like and it was like $130 ticket. And it wouldn't have been like that good of a seat, but
Right.
I still should have just went and just fuck it. I knew someone who was there. Actually, I was DC, so I probably knew a couple people over there, but um, I should have went, man. But
You should have went.
I really should have went, man. What was your first impression of the album?
So my story isn't as glamorous as yours. I downloaded the album when it came out, and threw it on the iPod, and I started listening to it on the way, um, to work, which was a shoe department at the time, and then I remember listening to most of it, um, throughout that evening because it was one of the nights where we were kind of dead, and so I was listening to most of it that night, and so other than Countdown being extremely frustrating for me at that time, I absolutely loved the album too. I was blown away. I I'd never seen a collaboration between the artists as big pulled off this well, and to this day, I still have not. It felt like in this era, and I doubt either one of them uh, would say otherwise. They truly were friends who were pushing each other to be the best that they could be musically, and Kanye was pushing Jay, Jay was pushing Kanye. They had plenty of fights about stuff, I'm sure, but it really just felt like it was two friends who finally sat down after years and years to make a dope ass album, and they accomplished it. And they spoke on so much shit on this album, Marcus. There's things that I didn't even pick up on until I was just older, and it's not it wasn't that I was no, I was naive. It's not that I just it just completely went over my head, and it's not like they intentionally did that. But it's funny that they had stuff for our demographic at the time, which was that was 10 years ago. So it was like the late 20s, had stuff for the younger demographic, to bring them in, because they were already there for Ye, and then Jay-Z was getting new fans off of that. And then even now when you're looking at our demographic, which is 30 plus, there's still stuff there for us. So it's amazing, like you said, the synergy and the chemistry that was used to create this vessel that is Watch the Throne.
I think the context of the album is what makes it so great. And I knew you were saying that there's something you didn't catch on, like if you don't have kind of a context for the time period, like when Kanye dissed Wiz Khalifa, like you would have missed that.
I saw that
Uh,
live, man. I was at work and I was like, yo, Kanye's dissing Wiz because he said KK in the tweets. Yo, he's going nuts.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And even when Jay-Z dissing Baby on Hard as a Motherfucker,
Yep.
so like those kind of like the context of that, plus sort of with kind of everything that was kind of going on, like the idea of luxury rap and them kind of bringing that, and even sonically listening to the album now, like they were completely planning on making this stadium status. Like they were really planning on blowing this album out. And then during the concerts, they were playing Niggas in Paris like 5, 6, 7 times because they're shooting video footage for their fucking video,
Yep.
but they're still getting people turned up for it. So it's the time period of this album really makes it so crazy. Like I vividly had flashbacks of I was bumping this album in my Acura in 2011. Like I used to murder fucking Who Gonna Stop Me, man. I used to play that
Bro,
shit so fucking hard.
bro, that turned into last summer's mowing anthem for me because after a many year ban, well, not many years, but I wasn't listening to Kanye, and then finally when I was like, all right, I want to go back and listen to some old stuff, and I was actually going through his discography, and it was time for Watch the Throne, and it just so happened that I was listening to it when I was mowing, and Who Gonna Stop Me was just literally on loop, and even the other night I was mowing again and I played Who Gonna Stop Me. It was just last night. And that song to this day, it, it's immaculate. It's immaculate what they
Yeah,
did on that
man.
track.
Yeah, like and even the time period of like what electronic and dubstep was becoming, but then hearing Jay-Z rap over this awkward beat and then him doing the awkward flow over it where it's he's really trying to finesse himself and nuzzle himself into the production and playing that, and especially a car with a good bass system, like it used to just be thunder, man. Like it
Oh,
used to be great.
yes. Yeah. There was definitely nothing like that song. And there's plenty more to talk about. But my next question is I remember when the I don't know, I feel like it was a leak. It could have been a single. I don't think it was a single. Do you remember when Ham dropped?
Oh
And
no, that was a single, yeah.
yeah, right. And it came out way before Otis or anything else. So this is the first taste that anybody
Yeah.
got of Watch the Throne. Do you remember your reaction to Ham? Because everybody trashed Ham online.
I know for sure people trash the outro because it's like there's literally just a 2.5 minute just outro. And so I remember that. Um I remember myself though, like the outro aside, I thought it was pretty nuts. I like the tempo of it, just kind of the high energy of it.
Mhm.
I thought it was good. I think listening to it now, it's like this entire album, like it really just did transport me back to that era. Like, but listening to it now, um, it's so funny. I'm used to used to it, so I don't have any problem with the outro anymore. But I don't listen to this album very much anymore because I'm still doing the Kanye band. This is the first Kanye album I listened to in 3 years. I guess I haven't listened to Kanye since I came. I moved to San Antonio. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the first time I listened to Kanye.
So my apologies for that, but I appreciate you breaking it for this album. Doing it for Hove essentially. I loved Ham, so I didn't understand what everybody was talking about. Um, and then the beat was the only part was like maybe like I don't really get that. But the more you listen to it, it just grew on me more and more, and it really is. It's a hard ass beat. I mean, hard as a motherfucker. They nailed that down real well. I mean, all these titles make absolute sense on this entire album, but I didn't. I thought people were
Yeah.
being too judgmental, and I remember the "That's My Bitch" leak as well coming out because I remember again I was a shoe department and I was breaking down shipment and I was listening to "That's My Bitch," man. So um, let's talk about the contrasting styles of Jay Z and Kanye. I know we don't want to talk about Ye too much in this, but I mean, obviously he's here as
I
well.
mean, no, we can like
Yeah,
no, like this is it. Like this, like and one of the questions I was gonna ask you,
yeah.
we'll tease it, uh, like the apex of their careers. So I definitely want to talk about that. But what were you going to talk about their contrasting styles?
Oh well, I mean, you have Kanye who's coming off of his arguably his masterpiece in My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy the year before. Jay's 2 years removed from Blueprint 3. Um, kind of recovered his footing after everything that happened with his comeback album, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Um, I really noticed last night listening to this again just how Ye was how they made their stuff blend because like yeah you'll have songs like New Day and obviously they're talking about their future kids and they're both on the same topic but Ye was very very fast lane kind of coming with it and like the money bitches hoes flashiness everything you expect from Kanye at that time and then Hove was coming in like Warhols Basquiat's B um but then I also can do this too um and do it and stoop to Ye's level. I just didn't know if you noticed how they blended their styles as well as they did throughout the album, like then or now.
Even in the moment, and it's still kind of in my mind right now. And this album is just it's just apparent that Jay Z's a better rapper. And I know obviously people have written for Kanye in the past. So I don't know if he did a majority writing on his own for this album or someone else was helping him with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just apparent that Jay-Z's a better rapper. But the thing is, the way their styles blend in with each other, even for an album like 444 and for, Run the Jewels or for Pinata or Bandana
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, if you have the producer that can guide the sound, it's like one of those things of, you know, what's more important, the production aspect and the vision aspect of the album or the lyrics of the album, because Kanye's greatest contribution to this album is not his lyrics. Like, his contribution is the energy that he put into it and the production that he guided. And even my That's My Bitch, like, he didn't produce that. That was a Q-Tip song.
Right. I
Welcome,
mean,
Welcome to the Jungle is Swiss Beats,
yeah,
and The Joy is
Pete
Pete
Rock.
Rock. But the thing is, though, Kanye's still the guiding hand for that. And the idea of being stadium status and the idea of grandiose, like the album cover, the touring, the touring merchandise, the visuals,
The
um,
visuals, the
that's
trailer for the album that you can only find on
yeah,
Vimeo.
yeah. And so that's Kanye's contribution to it. And so and actually in a lot of ways, like, that may be the best part of it, because Kanye is, other than a handful of songs when I think he actually does have better verses than Jay on, um, we get the high energy yay, we get the playful yay. We don't get bleached buttholes yay, but we see bleached buttholes on the peripheral, and we gave it a pass because he didn't go full bleach buttholes. But you know,
Ah,
it's it's kind of like and also it's kind of the quotableness of what Kanye was bringing anyway. Like after like mad parties in 2011, 2012, like people would tweet sunglasses
this
in
is in
Advil.
Netville.
Last night was mad real.
Yep.
Like they were pop. This was a pop culture album. Jay-Z doesn't do that. Jay-Z does not make pop culture music. Like, Jay makes great hip hop music. He makes classic hip hop music, but Kanye is pop. He is pop culture.
Yeah.
Or
He
Jay to
always
get
wanted that.
Yeah, for Jay to get brung in on that, and then even the verse on, like I said, like, who gonna stop me? Beat the odds, beat the feds. It won't be wise bet against the good. Us- Like like him just spitting all over that song and all these different songs in this album. Like, if he is a lesser version of who he is as a rapper, this album could be very, very lacking.
Messy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's on a roll on this album. Like, he just elevates it. The lyrics himself, he elevates it. So, in your perspective, what do you think is more important from this album? The sonics of it, or the lyrics, or the energy, or what do you think is the most important aspect of this album?
I realized quickly once I first heard it that the lyrics were not the most important because I'm used to going into a Jay-Z album and listening to the lyrics, and even Kanye albums. Like, I knew the production was going to be fire, but I was always listening to what Kanye would do over his own production. So just hearing the sonics and the fact that this motherfucker has its own interlude music that plays throughout the album just randomly and kind of
Yeah.
breaks it up, it's definitely guided by the sonics the whole way. So, like you said, the production wasn't always handled by Ye, but it was always Ye at the end of the day, not to make a rhyme, who was always had the final say on everything that happened with the album musically. So it's
Musically.
music clay, absolutely. Finish the bar. Um, every single piece that's on even the original album, if you're not adding in the deluxe version, which adds the 4 songs to it, um, it it all pieces together. Even Liftoff, which again, I'm just gonna go into it real quick. Liftoff makes me mad because Ye mumbles on his verse. Hove does like 6 to 8 bars, and then Beyonce just murders shit for
That's
the whole
that
rest of
song's
it.
not good. Yeah, we can admit that song is not that good.
I mean, just take y'all off and call Beyonce interlude and call it a day. But then everybody said they were biting Drake, I guess, because of Bria's interlude and everything else. But whatever. Uh, it just everything fits perfect. No Church gets you started off, and then Lift Off. It has the Sonics again of like really pushing you forward, and it's like we're gonna take you to the moon, take you to stars, and then Niggas in Paris happens, and then you're like, oh, I wasn't prepared for this. Like literally used a quote from a movie and and made this shit pop.
Yeah.
And then Otis, of course, Otis was like the official drop that it's like, oh shit, they got their shit together for anybody who was worried about Ham not sounding how they wanted to sound. And then from there on out, man, even with That's My Bitch, which I enjoy. I know there's people out there who don't like it. It's a straight perfect ride, and it's a perfect waves and everything from start to finish, man. So it's definitely all about the sound and the music beds that these two are rapping on. The lyrics matter as far as keeping you interested once you're past what the beat sounds like, but this is a sound guided album, and you're right, it definitely has it is pop driven versus it being more hip hop driven.
Are you ready to finally admit that Oceans is a better song than No Church in the Wild? Come on.
I knew you were going to
This is
bring this
this is
up.
this space. This is the space to do
I
this. Come
knew
on.
you were going to bring this up. Plead your case for Oceans again, please, because I still don't see it. Like I need you to do this for me.
I mean, it's everything about Oceans. It's Frank at not. I don't think it's peak Frank, but it's very good Frank. It's Frank coming off of Nostalgia Ultra, and it's that era of Frank.
Right.
And and we're talking about Lyrical J, like the vividness of his lyrics, the bitingness of his lyrics, the way you try to juxtapose these different sort of uh swoosh. Now we're gonna ball to swoosh. Now it's baller, something like that. But like you can see him really trying to weave in the intricacies of his struggle with being rich and being black in America, and the history of what being black in America means.
Right.
And while Jay is definitely someone, this album is definitely capitalistic Jay. At the same time, though, Oceans is a thoughtful enough song to that. I think for No Church in the Wild, if you put Oceans on this album, I'll admit it's probably like sixth or seventh best song. But at the same time, I still think it's better than No Church in the Wild. I think No Church in the Wild is. I think they use it to really build up the album. Like if you listen to that beat, it's it's subdued.
Yeah.
It's undertoned, underplayed, but then we eventually get to Murdered Excellence, Who Won't Stop Me, these big ass beats. And so you can make the argument it's a better intro, but it's not a better song.
More better than no church though, man. It's so beautiful. Like the lyrics that Hove put on Oceans would not have fit this album. Can we say that?
No, we can't, because if you listen to,
Why?
I mean, even Murder to Excellence, like Murder to Excellence, where it's talking about black and black crime, which
beautiful
but
song. Beautiful song.
yeah, the song is beautiful, but
A little too real nowadays, but it's always been a little too real.
But if you like, and actually, to be honest, like the lows of this album, which we only listen to the deluxe. I don't listen to just the regular. It was always the deluxe.
Thank you.
I would say the lows, Lift Off. I think Lift Off is definitely the worst song on this album.
Yeah.
But I would say Lift Off, No Church in the Wild is kind of mid. You know the funny thing is I love
Wow.
that's I yes, No Church in the Wild is mid. I love That's My Bitch, but the placement on the album I
It's
don't think is
bad.
good.
It's bad.
It's not it's like the place like it that's a song that could have either been one of the early songs or just an extra bonus song.
It
The
should have been a
placement of
bonus
it is
song.
not good. Yeah. And so the placement of that's not good. I don't I don't necessarily like Made in America. Honestly, it's okay.
It's
It's kind
pretty.
of mid.
It's very
It's
Blueprint 3-ish.
now Why I Love You is a great way to close out the album.
The
I
only Mr. Hudson song I've ever liked in my life, because I still don't forgive
shit.
him for Young Forever. It's that trash ass
Oh,
song. Ugh.
oh yeah. But but so this is the last time I want to ask you: No Church in Wild or Oceans?
No Church in the Wild.
Jesus, Jesus.
It's the beat doesn't do it for me, man. I mean, Hove is spitting and Frank is singing, but the beat doesn't do it for me. It's like no, man. No.
Muhammad
No.
Hovey, oh, what the fuck is it? He's
He
like
said Muhammad Hovey.
Hovey.
I just was looking at it.
Muhammad Hovey, my back's against the boat. The black. Oh, damn! I forget the fucking
Muhammad
song.
Hovey, my back against the rope. The black made back. I'm back inside the
The
boat.
boat.
Shepard
Shepard's
Fair.
Ferry. The guy finally gave me some hope.
Can't believe they got a nigga to vote.
Democrat, nope. So dope.
In troubled waters, I had to learn
how to
float.
float.
On the ocean, I'm in heaven. Yachting. Ocean 11.
Ocean
Yachting.
11. Ocean 11 dismount was a little iffy, but
Yachting. Ocean 11.
I just like him with I guess the long and short of it, man.
I will say though that the beat for Holy Grail, which Hove also recorded around this time, and Ye fought him over this record just like he did Oceans. Now the beat for Holy Grail, I think, is better than both the Oceans beat and the No Church beat.
But I haven't listened to that song, but isn't his verse kind of mid in that song?
On Magna Carta, yeah. The verse is definitely mid, but I was just saying the Justin's hook works, and then I feel like Hove kind of dropped the ball in his lyrics, but I think the beat is really dope and would have fit well into Watch the Throne. I think it would fit better than both Oceans and Church in the Wild.
Blue told me you run y'all niggas. Nigga just shit all that nigga. Like, bro, your 2-year-old did not tell you to tell people that you're this shit, bro. Like it's okay, Jay-Z. Like it's okay, sir.
Oh man. It's also a hard pivot to come off of a New Day when they're talking about their unborn children at that time and then go writing them That's My Bitch. So
then also calling women bitches. Like, especially he's a married man. So it's kind of
yes.
Yeah.
So much. Can we talk about the 4 tracks on or besides Ham? Can we talk about the 3 other tracks on the deluxe version?
Prime Time, Basking in the Lime, Cassius in his prime, cut out of the line because they don't want nobody's color out of the line. Some ladies a motherfucker color people time. Like, yeah. Like
Prime Time. Illest motherfucker alive. Like, my God. Like, I was going to work this morning and I was running through Westover and I was just gunning it, and that shit was on full blast, yo. And I was like, "Illest motherfucker alive," pulling in, yo. Russell Brand, Russell Crowe.
Like the Joy definitely should have made the regular version. Like,
if it hadn't been a Good Friday record, I think it would have.
I mean, of the 4 to make the regular album, like in all honesty, like you take off Made in America, you put the Joy in its place, and you end on Why I Love You. Like,
that's a dismount. That's a dismount, sir.
If you replace, I think you have to put. I do get the idea of why you would put a song between New Day and Welcome to the Jungle. I get it because the energy pivot is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you can, if you want to put something there, you maybe can fit Prime Time there.
Yeah.
either prime time or this motherfucker alive, maybe. But
Yep.
you take New Day off. You make that. I'm sorry. You take that's my shit. You take that's my bitch off. You make that a bonus track. You swap that with prime time. You take Made in America off. That's just a song that doesn't make anything, and you put
Right.
the Joy there. And the standard version is way better.
You feel about Made in America the way I feel about Oceans. It sounds like.
Well, I guess we kind of come to the conclusion that Frank with Jay is 1 for 3. My one is Oceans, and your one is No Church in a While.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I can agree to that. Can you imagine the Who Gonna Stop Me into Illest Motherfucker Alive though? If they had done that,
Um,
that's a hell of. I mean, it's the BPMs and the mood don't fit, but if they could have pulled that off, like and smacked those into each other somehow, like my God, that would have caused somebody to have heart palpitations before they got the Murdered Excellence, man.
I think if you have Welcome to the Jungle, you said Illest Motherfucker Alive, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Jungle, Illest Motherfucker. If you have, even on their set list that they perform, Welcome to the Jungle, Illest Motherfucker Alive, Who Won't Stop Me, Murdered Excellence, The Joy, and then Why I Love You. If they have that on the standard version of this album, that's probably top 3 J album and probably second best, well, third best Kanye album.
What's your number one Kanye album?
Oh, it's still Dropout. I haven't listened to Dropout, like I said, in 4 years. It's still Dropout for me.
Damn.
Actually, let's get into that right now. Like,
let's do it. Let's do it.
One of the things I wanted to talk about and think about is, we listen to Bill Simmons occasionally. One of the best things that he gave us was the idea of Apex Mountain.
Yes.
And I was wondering I was thinking about the Apex Mountain of Jay and Kanye in relation to this album. For me, yeah, I still take Dropout. I take Dropout. I take Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy as 2. My number 3. Now, because I haven't listened to Kanye in a long time, that can be up for discussion. But my argument for it is Apex Mountain for Kanye and not Jay. If you look at everything surrounding Kanye at this time, coming off of Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, which that album was pop culture. Like that album brought him all the way the fuck back.
It's a living piece of pop culture to this day.
It is. And then with Throne, not only the Throne, but then the Yeezy 2 Nike. And you talked about the teaser video. I vividly remember pausing the teaser video when he wore the Yeezy 2 on a concert performance, and they're flashing, like cameras flashing, so you have to pause it just right. And if you pause it just right, you can see the Yeezy 2 before like the official pictures came out of it, and then the concert to that, and then Niggas in Paris. It's just, and this is when he's with Kim, but he's not fully a Kardashian yet.
Right.
Like, this is the apex of what Kanye is. Like, this is him guiding pop culture and rap music in a lot of ways. The fashion of it, the fashion of what luxury rap did, whether good or bad, it phased out what streetwear actually was, and it brought in like people chasing like the bigger labels like Balenciaga, and then Off-White becoming a thing, Pyrex, Virgil blowing up off of that, but then you had Don C kind of on a peripheral. You had and then the son of that, ASAP Rocky, who was coming out at the time, they were pushing like their brands as far as what they wanted for streetwear, and the idea of, you remember like LRG and Artful Dodger and all those streetwear brands that we used to wear that were fly and that were affordably priced.
Right.
Now, no, we're wearing leather pants now. Like it's so crazy, bro. And it's like, and Jay brought into it, so that obviously meant that like there was a level of validity to older men now buying into it. And I mean that was, it's sad in a lot of ways. That was the death knell of what, streetwear actually was.
Yeah.
And but that's what the power of Kanye was at that time. Like that's the power of, what he could make pop and what he could not. Like I remember even the shirts that they sold on tour selling for like mad money.
Mad money.
And it's, I just think that at that time, you know, we were alive during the Michael Jackson era. We weren't alive during the Beatles era. I think that's the closest to what Michael Jackson was in America, at least. Obviously, globally, Michael Jackson is just phenomenon. But
Yeah.
what Kanye was at that point, coming a couple of years after Mike passed, I think that's the closest to what we'll see what a superstar can do, just in multiple avenues
Yeah.
and just slowly killing shit. Um, do you now, like I said though, I think it's apex bound for him, but not necessarily Jay though. But what do you think that, where do you hold Watch the Throne in Kanye's discography, and where do you think this moment of time for his career puts him at?
Um, 2010 and 2011 is obviously, in my opinion, apex, Kanye's apex. There was no other time where he was operating at such a high level with the music he's putting out and the rhymes he's putting out and the feelings he invoked out of out of you by his music. So I definitely feel like this is part of his apex. I don't feel like it's in like one of his top albums. It's up there. It's top five, but um, it's really hard to put '04 Yeezy against 11 or 10 Yeezy or '07 Kanye, which is really when graduation happened. It's kind of when he even went to a higher level than we thought he could even do.
Yeah.
It's hard to even put '07 Kanye, who beat Wayne on the track, to against 2011 Kanye, who literally was inviting legends to Hawaii to record 4 bars and then being like, all right, cool, appreciate it. And then taking that and then building, and not only that, but having 16 people sing the hook on All the Lights just to get Drake off the song. So let's not forget about that either. There's no beating this version of Kanye West, and honestly, up until I'm one of those people who think that Yeezus was great. So I'd even say 2010 to 2013 Kanye is apex mountain for Kanye, and then it kind of started backpedaling from there, and then he's since fallen off the mountain.
You think Yeezus is great?
I love Yeezus. I love
Ooh,
Yeezus.
that is a take.
It's a
But
take, but I loved it from the first time I heard that album. And I know it's weird. I know sonically it's different for everything else he did, other than the very last joint, which Bound to, which is an incredible addition to the discography and Blood on the Leaves. But I
yeah,
really like the whole world building that he did with Yeezus. Like I can go visit Yeezus World, which I haven't done still. I haven't listened to Yeezus in years, even when I was going back to discography last year. Um, I still always enjoy going to that world because I never considered it more than that. Like I kind of saw it as his vision for this one project, and you either buy in or you don't. And a lot of people didn't, but I did.
um, yeah, I would still, I think just because the polarization of what that was, I think that's why the mountain is starting to decline there.
Hmm.
And and that, and honestly, like that's the first album that really people were kind of polarized on. Because I mean 808s and Heartbreak, I think in a lot of ways there were people that were kind of put off by it, and then
Oh yeah.
obviously the incident with um, Taylor Swift happened, and like people in Middle America now they think Kanye West is a dickhead,
I
and so it's
hate
kind
you,
of like,
Kanye West.
yeah, and I think the rebound is so great with Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and then that album, and then the comeback with the Good Fridays, and then Throne, um,
Good
and
Fridays. We need Good
it's
Fridays, man. Good Fridays was the time.
yeah, and so I think that whole kind of era was really really great, man,
Hmm.
and then he transitioned to when we had kind of uh Cruel Summer, that era, where it's kind of like he's obviously in that mode of putting other people on and the big collaboration aspect of it.
Yep.
So it's not necessarily, I don't think it's necessarily improving his status, but it's not declining it. I think it's just keeping it on the level. And then when Yeezus dropped and it being just so left field, that was kind of like a lot of people, and for me especially, like, yeah, there was a couple of good songs on it, but then the majority of it was just, I think Rick Rubin did not help that album. I think he tried to get it on track as possible, but I don't think that collaboration worked. And then Life of Pablo like came 3 years later, and then the touring, and then
Yeah.
the him being a full blown Kardashian, and everything else just in the gutter after that.
Yeah.
So
Straight gutter balls. Yeah, I
yeah,
can see that. But my top five Kanye would be Dropout, 808s, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That would be three. Graduation, and then I would probably say Watch the Throne. After that, so it's definitely top five.
I'd say Dropout, Fantasy, Graduation. I always forget how good late registration is until I listen to it.
It's amazing.
I think I would take the way Throne is now and the sequencing of it. I would probably take late registration over Throne.
Okay.
And then after that, I do 808s, then Life of Pablo, and then Yeezus. And I'm not listening to anything either after Life of
Yeah,
Pablo.
I
So
haven't listened to Yay Kids See Ghost or Jesus is King. Um, and 808s just hit me at such a dark time in my life, man. It was just the perfect soundtrack, so that's why I hold it in such high regard.
oh no,
Um,
I shout out to emo kids around the world. But yeah, man, that like there's oh my god, it's I miss Kanye, but I I don't know when I'll listen to Kanye, but Streetlights, like any lonely kid used to knock Streetlights into the fucking stratosphere, man. Streetlights was so fucking rich, and it was warm, and he like listening to Streetlights would hug you.
yes,
It's
let me
like,
know. Yeah, man.
oh my god, bro.
Do
Fuck
I
this nigga, bro.
still need time to grow? Oh, things don't always sit in. Don't get me started.
So,
Let me know. Let me know. Beautiful.
bro.
Um, I always consider late registration the older brother of college dropout. So I almost feel like saying dropout kind of puts registration on its level, even though dropout is clearly the winner between the two. So it's really hard for me to rank that one always. Um, and then the predecessor I feel like to Streetlights on Graduation was I Wonder, because I Wonder was
Love
my
I Wonder,
jam.
yeah. I
Yeah,
love I Wonder.
absolutely was infatuated with that song in '07. That was definitely something I'd always go to when I was up late at night and contemplating life. So yeah, Ye did many things for us, man. He hadn't helped us
Yeah.
lately, but he's done many great things for us. So we move on to Jay, which I think will transition us to Kingdom Come. So you said you don't feel like this is Jay's apex on Watch the Throne.
Cause
And I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I just wanted to see what your
I
reasonings are.
I think Throne helps Kanye more than it does Jay.
Mhm.
Like, even though Jay is on this. I mean, and you can make the argument kind of the same way that Drake rides waves. Like, I think Jay-Z contributes a lot to this album, but Jay-Z don't got no Nikes that I want to buy, bro. He don't got no shirts that I want to buy, bro. Like, like he don't got music videos I want to watch, bro. Like, and so what Kanye does, even though, like I said, it's not even close who the better rapper is, but this album wants you to incorporate so much more than just that. So you can't just count that, and that can't be just the most important thing. So I wouldn't argue that it's Apex J, because even though he does, and to be very honest, him getting with this and also with Beyonce as his wife and the collaboration and the tour with Justin Timberlake, it does get him into that pop space to where him being a part of NFL is not such a weird thing. But at the same time, like, you know, in a lot of ways, he's hitching his wagon to somebody else's star. And whether it's good or bad, that's what it kind of comes across as, especially a decade later, looking at how everything played out and then looking kind of where he is now. I think for me, if we're talking, so Apex J, I think it's really hard to kind of talk about Apex J because I it's like in a lot of ways the more successful he was and the more kind of he wanted to make those pop records. Like I still think Reasonable Doubt's his best album, but I would then say that Blueprint, the OG Blueprint, is his second best album. I would still say that.
Yeah.
And Black Album was really special. Blueprint 2, even though it was overwrought, it had some good music to that.
Yes.
The comeback with American Gangster and Blueprint 3 and then Throne, that was a good kind of comeback. I think, though, I would argue that 2001 was probably Apex J. And this is coming out of, rest in peace DMX. This is him emerging from the shadow of DMX. This is him,
emerging from the shadow of Biggie.
Yeah. And then this is him challenging Nas, with a rapper who got way more respect. Even though he didn't get accolades, he got more respect as a kind of a lyricist than what Jay did. But then you have in 2000, you got Dynasty, you got Blueprint in 2001, Unplugged in 2001, and then the emergence of The Rock and him really trying to stake his claim as one of the best in the game. And DMX is right there. But this is his legitimate shot at that claim. So I think 2001 is probably Apex J.
Okay. My J Apex, it involves a year that you just named. 2001 to 2003 is Apex J. He came in '96, killing everything, but you will find no finer bars in Jay-Z's entire catalog than the ones that he spit from the time that 2001 opened, on anything that he happened to be on. He dropped Blueprint, he dropped Unplugged. You go into 2002, Gurus for some reason convinced this motherfucker to record a double album, and he did it. And he made about he made one good disc in there, and he dropped that. But then after Blueprint 2 comes out, and people are like, oh, Blueprint 2 is not that great. It's not the same as Blueprint. Blueprint was classic. This is okay. And everything. If you listen to anything he was on, which would be like Beware the Boys came out. He did S. Carter collection. He did that mixtape when he's rapping over B2K and rapping over Rockstar and taking Pump It Up back from Joe Budden. Give me that beat, fool. It's a full-time jack move. Don't worry, Skate. I'll give it back soon. Just having a little fun. Sup, my nigga? Then Joe's like, oh, I'm gonna get my beat back. I'm like, no, you ain't Joe. No, you ain't Joe. He just had so many big. He was just all over the radio. Frontin' came out in 2003. Crazy in Love came out in 2003, and all of that just. He did that. Oh yeah, remix with Dead Prez. He killed that. I remember Double XL talking about that. He killed Welcome to New York City 2002 on Bleak's album Made after he did him dirty and on Understanding in 2000 and came back on Made and gave him like 3 solid verses on Made, which are all incredible. Um, Once again, it's on Leaked in 2003. That was on the Sequels 2004 album. There's just so much Jay to go around and it's all great.
Punjabi MC.
And Punjabi MC, yeah, Beware the Boys. Um, Bad Boys 2 soundtrack, like La La La. That joint still
Yeah.
goes, even though he has a couple homophobic lines in there, which I noticed last time I listened to it. I was like, damn, Hove, you didn't have to say it like that. Um, but even when he dropped Change Clothes and people were like, oh, this is Change Clothes. When Change Clothes is going out the radio on hiphopgame.com was the first time I heard um what more can I say? And I was like, oh my God, yo, this is fucking nuts. And you got the Black Album, and it was the perfect ending, and the concert, and then he left. And literally 01 to 03, there's no better version of that, of that which is Sean Corey Carter.
Yeah, I would say that extend it out to that because even the DJ Clue freestyle, all this bullshit can make the mind worry, but my theory is the sun shines clearly and sun will shine clearly.
Yeah, and then he had the Hovey Baby remix out there. That was
Yep.
dope. He did the DJ Envy album and he had a track called Hova in there, and that was nasty. It was like Hova, and he just murdered it. Like literally, it was like knocking dominoes down for Jay. So if there was ever a peak of any MC that I wish to be, it would be that.
Yeah.
God, like you want to talk about top ramen? That's it right there for me, boy.
Yeah, man. So I would agree for that. So in the space of Jay's album, so where do we rank Watch the Throne?
It's top 10. Is it top 10? Shit. Hold on. Let me get the discography up here. Podcasting 101. I just looked at Ye's. Let's see. Let's see how many albums I would put in front of it. So one.
I mean, there's some we can just kind of knock out. Like we're definitely putting Blueprint. We're definitely putting Reasonable Doubt. Those at least those two.
It's top 10. It's top 10. I'm comfortable with saying it's top 10. Yeah, Blueprint and Reasonable definitely go ahead of it. Black Album goes ahead of it. 444 goes ahead of it for me. I still love 444. Have you wavered since in the 4 years since it dropped?
I mean, the thing I wrote for it, I wrote is probably the best J album. It's not, but but I think for the content of it, I do think it's his most impressive album. Everything he's trying to pull off and what he does succeed at, I think is his most ambitious album. So I would say in that respect, yeah, I would say these years later, I would say it's probably, I would take Reasonable and I would take Blueprint over it. I may take American Gangster over it, so it may be 4.
Not before American Gangster. It's top 3 for me. So it's definitely Reasonable, Blueprint, and then 444. And then probably Black Album for me over American Gangster.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah. And American Gangster is damn near a perfect album. And yes, I've come to terms with Hello Brooklyn being a decent enough song, but that's a hell of a blemish. It's a hell of a blemish, man.
Oh, damn. So Reasonable Doubt versus Throne Doubt in my Lifetime Volume 1, which I love. I'm probably gonna take Throne over that.
I'm gonna take Lifetime over that though.
Oh shit.
I love Lifetime, man. Like there's so much good stuff on here, and he gets like the worst song on this whole album is I Know What Girls Like. And City Is Mine is kind of suspect, but I mean it was the time.
City Is Mine is cool.
Yeah.
City Is Mine is cool.
I've always liked it. I'm a Sunshine apologist. I know it's trash.
Yeah, that song's bad.
I mean, Face Off is kind of it sounds like early volume 2. But I mean, You Must Love Me's on this record, man. I mean, Imaginary Players, Streets is Watching, Lucky Me, all these are on this record, man. And I'm taking Lifetime Volume 1 over Watch the Throne.
What about Hard Knock Life?
Watch the Throne over Hard Knock Life.
Life and Times.
Life and Times is my first Hove album, but I'm going Watch the Throne.
Dynasty.
It's Watch the Throne. As much as I talked about Love and Dynasty, it's Watch the Throne.
Blueprint 2.
Watch the Throne. Even Blueprint 2.1, you can throw that in there. Watch the Throne.
We don't count that, but I know you say you take Black Album. I can safely say we're both taking Throne over Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're taking American Gangster. BP3.
Watch the Throne.
There you go. Magna Carta.
Watch the Throne.
And then 444.
444.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. You're so Throne for you is like 6.
Okay.
Number 6.
I said it was top 10. That sounds right.
So
okay.
All right. Now let's rock this bad boy. Anything you want, girl. Like
shit.
I was the funny shit is I was the only it was like me and shout out to my nigga Dave. I think Dave liked this song.
I like this song. I like this song for a good 18 months after it came out. I was fucking with this show. I was like, yo, this show, anything you want, girl.
I still love this song, bro. Like it's so funny. This song and then AO Technology not blowing up to be mega popular has always baffled me. More so AO Technology because you had 50, Justin, and Tim. And
AO Technology was such a good record. I'm
super surprised that was not like the number one song in the world.
He missed with so many records on Curtis, man. And Curtis had some jams on it, man, for real. And he put like 6 singles to get something to go off, and it never really materialized for him.
Do you remember
I Get Money?
Do you remember when Elements, for like, I guess it was like a month or two, they had like a video projector and they played videos and they played Disco Inferno?
Yes. The uncut Disco Inferno? Yes.
I mean, why wouldn't you not play that one? Yo, that shit was so. Why did videos in the club? That shit was kind of flit. Yo. Why did they stop doing that? That shit was kind of tight for a minute, though. That shit was live.
My man Cortez would say they don't want to pay the DJs who have the video mixers as a problem because he has one. But Morgantown's always had a problem with wanting cheap DJs over talented ones. So the ones who had the video mixers normally would not DJ for $50 a night. And that's why we had less video mixing in the clubs.
Damn, yo. Because I remember like just like, oh, shit, they're playing Disco Inferno and it's ringing out because that's a great song, and then the video is captivating. So
very, very captivating.
But so we have to pivot from the awesomeness of Disco Inferno to Kingdom Come.
So if anything's your guilty pleasure, because I'll be honest with you, Marcus, like I was listening to Anything yesterday and I was still like, I kind of fuck with Anything, even though
that song's still hard, yo.
Anything you want, girl. And it's got the Pharrell, the doom, 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 doom. Think you want, girl. And Usher's going for it, man.
When Jay-Z had some concert that he recorded and Pharrell sung the hook and the crowd had no response. And I was so saddened by that.
Oh, man.
I was so saddened. Like,
that
if
hurts.
if I was in the crowd, I would have went apeshit ho. So.
Oh, man. But, now, you love Anything. I didn't mean to cut you off, but Hollywood was the best Jay-Z Beyonce record up until part 2 until part 2 came out, honestly.
Kelen, that song's kind of gross. Actually, you know what? I'm being a bit facetious. I think in the moment we talked about Throne contextually, so we should give some context to Kingdom Come.
We should.
When Kingdom Come came out, I remember
2006.
I remember being very excited for the album. I remember having my dad take me to some music store actually buy a physical copy, even though I was well into bootlegging music by then.
Right.
I still remember the red cover that you took off, and it was underneath it revealed lyrics to some of the songs and a
Yep.
different Jay-Z picture on the album cover.
Very cool packaging.
Yeah, the packaging was A plus. I have no clue where that album is now. It's somewhere,
I got mine
somewhere
from
in
the Den.
storage.
I got
Oh,
this from the Den, and I got Graduation from the Den.
shout out to the Den.
Shout out to the Den.
Um, and in the moment, I it's so funny. So in the moment, I kind of feel the same way that I feel listening to it today. I listened to it last week when I was driving, and the lows for some reason were hitting me like really really hard. But stepping back, it's not that they're necessarily bad songs. It's just kind of like unnecessary songs. So therefore listening to it makes them bad. Like they're not like the lyrics aren't technically bad. The production's not technically bad, but after yo, after Do You Want to Ride, which I legitimately think Do You Want to Ride is one of my favorite Jay-Z songs. I'll say that flat out.
One of the best records on the album. I agree with that. Yes.
Like John, like what he did on that song, John Legend singing the hook, like the beats, the drums that Kanye produced on it.
Mm-hmm.
I literally I don't know if it's one of the best Jay songs. I know it's one of my favorite Jay songs ever.
That's
And
dope.
so I still remember even when um Kingdom Come leaked and that shit was fire. Like the funny thing is like from the prelude up until Do You Want to Ride, even Show Me What You Got is kind of like popish. I still think that first section of the album is super top heavy. Like I think those songs are all good. Like I love the comic book thing he was trying to do. Um Lost Ones, and it's funny, Lost Ones was a fucking single.
Yeah.
Like and he's airing out all this dirty laundry. And so I think that part of it is top heavy. Then after Do You Want to Ride is where it gets a little bit funky. Cause like even 30 something, that song is not necessarily bad. It's just the hook is terrible. Like 30 is not the new 20, it's 30. like come on. And he was like 39 basically.
Right. Right. He was literally 3 years away from 40 when he made this album.
It's
Yeah.
so it's like the hook is shit, but the Dre production is good, and the song itself is not too bad. And like even like I Made It, like Mama I Made It, that song, like that song, it's not technically bad, but that's like an outro song. Like
That's a
that shouldn't
beautiful
be on
beat. Khalil
yeah,
killed
it
that shit.
is. It is like the song isn't technically bad, but that's not a song you put on the middle of your album. Like that's a song you put as your outro.
Right.
And so the placement of that just kind of weird. I love anything, but then soon as anything is over, it's just like a level of mediocrity that
It gets real dark for a while.
it gets really bad for a while. Like I didn't like Hollywood, man.
I
Hollywood
enjoyed
was
Hollywood. I thought it was better than whatever the single was off of B-Day that they had together.
oh well, I mean, Drunken Love is the apex. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
outside of their album,
I was thinking that yesterday. I was like, I gotta tell Marcus that "Drunken Love" is their best song. Yes.
yeah, outside of the album, which I actually the funny thing is we gave them shit for making so much bad music over the years that the album came and was dismissed when that album was actually fairly solid.
It was a good album. Yes.
And we didn't even rank that album against Throne, but we're taking Throne over that, so we don't have
Yes.
to do that. And so it's kind of like so we Dig a Hole is just fucking terrible, man. Terrible Trouble is terrible, man. They're just bad songs. Like
If my hand's in the cookie jar, I'ma take the cookie and not leave my ring. Like, bro. And then to think about it, Jay-Z now, a Jay-Z who we all know cheated on Beyonce. Bro, you almost lost your ring. And
yeah,
you definitely got caught putting your hand in the cookie jar. So has
yeah.
not aged well, my dude, my guy.
And I mean, he tried to get kind of faux deep on Minority Report. All right, Beach Share, all right, but that whole back album, it's like the bodybuilder who works on nothing but his pecs and nothing but his arms, and he has total chicken legs. Like the back album of Kingdom Come is total chicken legs, man.
Oh man. Okay. I agree with you. So let me run down my version of this, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about the most annoying thing about this album. He never did it again on any other albums. Not not like he did here. Eminem has his accent album on not it was Relapse, right? Yeah,
I mean, it's Eminem.
Relapse was the accent album. This is Jay's Whisper Flow album. So the entire album, Hove is like, "Show me what you got, baby. Show me what you got,
It's a
baby."
lot of rough hooks on this album, bro. It's a lot of rough hooks, and
I
that's why
know.
I love Usher and I love John Legend so much.
The king of New York, New York. Not only NYC, I'm hip hop savior. So after this flow, you might owe me a favor when Kingdom Come. Or how about this? Mama, I made it, baby. And
Yeah,
then, and the
he tried to do a
whole
lot with the hooks.
album, like even the prelude with that Just Blaze sound, and it's like, oh man, this is giving me Hovey baby vibes. And it's like, dun, dun, yeah, dun, dun. And it's like, here comes the oh my god, ho. Here comes Ho from the track. This isn't the right bars, but I just want you to know how he was rapping on every single track. Then I go back and I'm president now. Def Jam, Dame's a bitch. Meth Blake is still my homie now. Um, and I can't freestyle. You just heard evidence of it. But why did he choose on the comeback album after 3 years to remove all bass from his voice other than moments of show me what you got and Beach Chair? He's sitting there dissing Dipset on Dig a Hole, and he doesn't even have the
I
audacity to
mean,
put even a little bass in his voice.
he doesn't really have much bass. I don't. I wouldn't describe him as like a deep voiced rapper, honestly.
Right,
But
but
the
you know what I mean. When Jay
I mean, just
raps,
him doing shitty hooks, like him doing shitty hooks. Like this is a shitty hook album.
and he just carried the shitty hooks into every single verse and was like, you know what? I'm not gonna use my speaking voice or my Jay-Z voice. Like if you look at that night, I got 99 problems. It's like coming from putting some oomph behind it. He didn't get on there. I like, if you're having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems. I got the Rat Patrol and her Cat Patrol. He didn't do it like that. There was some oomph behind it. It was like literally like he was not trying to strain his vocal cords like he had a polyp or something. This entire album.
I mean, that's your take. I just
I
think
can't
you're
be the
just.
only one who hears it.
I think you are. I think you're just dancing around. He just made shitty hooks like that. Like that's like if you boil it down, like that's what it is. Like it's like you're saying, like yeah, like his voice is elevated in the sense that he just sounds kind of weird, but it just comes down to him making shitty hooks. Like that's like that's the long and short of it,
The hooks
Kellen.
are shitty, but then it literally carries to the verses. You have to listen when we get done. Maybe listen to one song and see if you hear it. Maybe I'm crazy, but he literally whisper
Yeah, you
flows the
are.
entire. I'm not crazy, the entire album, and I don't understand why. Okay, so now that that's out the way, I agree with you on the beginning being the best part. Kingdom Come, great beat. Just Blaze is doing some incredible production. Um, it holds up until Do You Want to Ride? It falls off really hard at 30 something for me. Anything I did enjoy. I'm a Hollywood apologist, like we saw. Trouble, Dig a Hole's bad. Minority Report. You get one whole verse, and I know what he's trying to do there, but it doesn't really hit like he wants it to. You don't like Beach Chair though?
I mean, it's these like
You don't like Beach Chair?
hitting every wave like I'm Hawaiian. Okay, ho. All right. Okay.
I didn't
This is
say
what we're
every
doing.
bar was golden, but the message behind that and the
Hold on, hold on,
uh,
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. You just complained about his terrible voice, and he does that on that song, bro.
The lyrics finally
I can hear
outweighed the
Angel.
voice on that for me.
I
I know
hear.
he does it on that song.
I can hear Angel singing to me.
That yo,
Uh,
it's okay because that's like the intro to the song though. Life is but a dream to me. I don't want to wake up 30 odd years without having my cake up.
you you know
It,
you fucked up, Kellen, right? You know you fucked up, right?
I don't care. Beach Chair is my favorite song off Kingdom Come. I listened to it 3 times.
No
I listened to this
way.
song 3 times in a row last night.
No way.
Beach Chair is my favorite song off of this album.
Ooh, that's the hottest thing of the night there, boy.
You know it.
Ooh.
Here,
Even for you, like step inside the booth, like oh my, step inside the booth. Superman's alive. Like he, like damn.
Kingdom Comes is close second, but Beach Chair is my favorite song. See, I got demons in my past, so I got daughters on the way. If the prophecies are correct, then the child should have to pay for the sins of the father. So I barter my tomorrows against my yesterdays in hopes that she'll be okay. And when I'm no longer here to shade a face from the glare, I'll give up my share of Carol's daughter and a shiny new beach chair. Come on. Come on.
Like it's not bad. It's just you know what, maybe what it is. I never listened to Beach Chair as an individual song. I've only listened to it coming off of Minority Report.
Which is a
And
rough ride. I agree. I
yeah,
agree with that. Yes.
and so by that time I'm just ready
You're
to
ready for it to be over.
I'm ready to clock out the shift at that point. Like, so you know, he could have been like, spitting all the bars. I just may have missed it. So I'll 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 listen to Beach Share just by itself. But that was, you know, that song like sounds like a Lupe Fiasco beat, to be honest, which is not, it's not a bad thing. I re-listened to Food and Liquor, and Food and Liquor is definitely a classic, but fuck Lupe. Um, so
Why are we fucked, Lupe?
I mean, I don't got time for
Egomaniac.
super leftist. Yeah, egomaniac, super leftist, man. Like, I don't got time for all that, man. But
Okay, fair enough. We don't gotta get into it. I just want to know why, real quick. That was good enough.
yeah, but so and the funny thing is, in the moment, again, contextually, Blueprint 3 was an album that was really praised, but if you compare Blueprint 3 to Kingdom Come, Kingdom Come really is a predecessor to what everything that Jay is rapping about on Blueprint 3. Like the idea of black progression and achieving, like he maximizes that on Blueprint 3, but
Yeah.
a lot of that has roots in this album. And
Yeah.
also contextually, it's like, even it's so funny, he has a song called Mama I Made It where he's celebrating all of his achievements, but the end of the album is directly a song about black people who are disproportionately affected by Hurricane Katrina in the beginnings of the financial crash that's around the corner.
Right.
So you, like his fans, you can't listen to that song and relate to it. Like you just can't. Like you can't listen
No,
to
I can't.
that song and be like, well, you know what? Like this, 725-hour job I got, I made it as well, Hove. Like you can't really do that. And so I think the relatability of this album at the time, like it just wasn't really there. And so, with him having Minority Report and Lil Wayne having like Georgia Bush at that time, like rappers actually kind of talking about those sorts of like political issues, especially with Bush, like it was welcome. It was a good feeling to hear them make these type of songs.
Oh
I
yeah.
think the idea of them making the songs are actually, well, in Jay's case specifically, the idea of him making that song is better than the song itself.
Yeah.
But I think Blueprint 3 was really the progression of everything that Kingdom Come was trying to do. But I mean, the thing is, Blueprint 3 was 3 years later. And so it kind of took that long for either the audience to catch up or for Jay to make adequate enough music for us to feel it then.
Yeah. One thought that came to me yesterday while I was listening to this album, and I hate that we're trashing it on its 15th anniversary, but it kind of deserves it. Every song on Kingdom Come, Jay has made better on other albums. somehow. I feel like.
I mean, you think about even his attempt at making like the poppy dance song. Like, yeah, he's done that better in the past and in the future.
Yeah,
Him trying to make deep records, he's done that better. Like I said, "Do You Want to Ride" is one of my favorite Jay songs, but at the same time, like, you know, even for, I mean, we just talked about the excellence. Well, you talked about the excellence of Volume One, but if we look at "You Must Love Me," I mean, like, that's like the storytelling that he does on that song is, he doesn't, he only mimics that storytelling only a handful of times throughout the rest of his whole career.
yeah,
So,
literally.
"Do You Want to Ride" is like a shout out to, obviously, his man that was locked down, but at the same time, it's like, you know, he he is definitely not Apex J, and it's definitely not um is that the best of what Jay has brought. Like, even the idea is so funny because I remember him talking in interviews about people hated "Show Me What You Got," but like Budweiser paid for the advertising for that
Yeah, they
song
did.
and the
Yeah, they did.
advertising of the album. But isn't it's kind of like, well, he got in bed with this liquor company to push this song that was kind of, obviously the Public Enemy sample was dope, and Just Blaze, he did what he could for that song, which is actually, it's a fun energetic song, but Jay rapping on it is not necessarily that impressive. So it's
No.
kind of like, you want a cookie because you hustled a company to pay for the album. Like, we don't give a shit about that. Like, we just don't. Like, and so it's kind of like, and honestly, that's the sort of first rumblings you can kind of see of what Jay's disconnect is. And
Yeah. Yes, you
it's
can.
like it's rumblings. It's not the whole picture. That doesn't come. I mean, obviously that doesn't come until like after like 444 or whatever, until where we're in now. But it's like, I think that Jay overshot. He overshot what he wanted to achieve, and he missed the mark. And then 3 years later, the mark got hit with Blueprint 3.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Um so if we were able to wipe away Kingdom Come, does it hurt Jay-Z's catalog, or does it or do you feel like we needed Kingdom Come to get to American Gangster and Blueprint 3 and Watch the Throne and the albums that came after that?
Oh no,
Was
if we
Kingdom
go
Come
from
necessary?
Oh no, if we go from Black Album to American Gangster, like, that's a comeback album for your fucking ass, bro. Like, no, like, no, I love "Do You Want to Ride," but like, if we never got "Do You Want to Ride," or if we got anything, like, actually, the funny thing is, I think for me, anything, I think it's probably the most fun I've had with a Jay song, and I think that's why I love it so much, because it's all cotton candy. It's like, they didn't even play it in clubs like that, really. So you didn't even really
Right.
see girls even dancing to it or whatever. You didn't really dance to girls to the song or whatever. But it's like a cotton candy song. It looks good, it's sweet, but then you have to keep playing it to get that emotion back. But if we wipe away this album and go from Black Album, and then American Gangster is like the reintroduction to Jay, like, no, like that's, especially with, that having, Black Republican was not that good of a song. I can admit, all these years later, but
No.
having Success on that album, Success was fucking dope. Like,
Success was is the best Nas and Jay-Z song. Yes.
yeah, and like I said, for me, I think American Gangster is my number 3 favorite J album. So if we go from Black Album, which was a great album in itself, and then you go from an album that is the third best J album all those years off, like, that would have been like even more impressive.
Yeah, that you're right. I mean, I rarely visit Kingdom Come unless I have to.
Yeah.
And like even if it's on on some shuffle shit and then one of these songs comes on, I'm more than likely skipping it unless it's not gonna be Beast Share that comes on shuffle. So I'm probably skipping it because Wayne did show me what you got better. Kingdom Come, I might play. Do You Want to Ride? Again, it might not come up on shuffle. 30 something, I'm skipping. It's was necessary to get him back in the door. I can see that point. It's almost, and like you said, come back like Jordan. We're in the 4-5. Like literally, this is his 4-5 album. and then he definitely came back after game one of the 1995 Eastern Conference Finals against the Magic and put on number 23 and got fined by the league for American Gangster. So, uh,
Love an
yeah,
extended metaphor.
well, it is what it is, man. I mean,
It is what it is.
am I
Like
wrong on
it's
that?
not necessarily. I do think
Exactly.
you're right as far as comparing this to the 45 J, where I'm sorry, to the 45 Mike, to where yeah, like he dropped 55 is 45, which was do you want to ride, but when he
Beat
went
share.
against or no, I don't think so. I think that was him getting fucked up by the Magic in the playoffs. Um,
Damn. Damn.
but so even do you want to ride? Like I think the last verse in Do You Want to Ride, like International Hope, I Thought I Told You So, 44 is out of Tokyo, Singapore, all this some singing songs. Coming up though, who thought Slinger Raw could be the end all be all to being rich, didn't we? Little did I know my more potent delivery, like all that shit, like him like just floating on that like last verse was just fucking crazy. But I mean that was a bright spot. Like in the album that literally could have been cut in half and been saved. And like I said, in a moment, I thought it was a solid album. I thought it was a good album. I was happy that Jay was back making music,
And I was too.
but just like looking back at it, in his discography, like I don't care for Blueprint 2. Like obviously, there's a lot of good on Blueprint 2. There's a lot of bad. I would
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I would say Blueprint 2 is probably bottom for me, and then just above that. Well, I I haven't listened to Volume 3 since it dropped, so I don't really
Damn.
just well, I listen to like some songs every now and then, like obviously like Big Pimpin' or whatever,
Yeah.
or like
There's been a
a couple
murder. You should listen to
um,
that.
like Snoopy track, obviously, but
Come and get me. There's
um
been a murder. Both of those are like great Jay-Z B-side songs.
yeah, so I don't disparage Volume 3 because I haven't listened to it in forever, but
Right.
I would say Blueprint 2 is the bottom for me, and then I would probably Magna Carta Holy Grail, like that's another album that just has problems with just too much music. Even though the album is only like 15 songs long or 16 songs long,
It feels very
you,
long.
they could have cut out 5 songs from that album, and that album would have been really, really good. But I think the songs kind of just bogged down. But I would put, I think I would put Magna Carta Holy Grail as probably. What would you pick? Kingdom Come or Holy Grail?
Um, which would
That's
I take?
yeah, that's not a
Holy Grail. Wait,
really.
no, nope. It's Kingdom Come. It's Kingdom Come. I gotta have Kingdom Come over Holy Grail, even though I think Holy Grail would fit better on Watch the Throne over Oceans and No Church. But yeah,
Yeah, I think I can admit. Yeah, I would put that as second worst, and then I will put Kingdom Come as third worst. Jay.
mm-hmm. Yeah, we can agree on that. But um, I do want to say something good about this album because, of course, me being the Hove #1 fan that I am, I was heartbroken and distraught by his retirement in 2003. So I was literally living for any guest verse that this man would do, whether that would be 2005's Dear Summer, or when he would pop up on Bun B remixes, or the iconic Go Crazy remix with a gentleman named Young Jeezy who just got married. Congratulations, Jeezy. Uh, your wife is very, very pretty. Um,
Just relax.
I'm just saying she's very pretty, man. Dang. Like when I kept hearing the rumors, I was reading all the blogs. I finally remember when Nah Right came out, and do you remember when the post went up that it was when he was touring overseas, and he put up like the diamond, and it had like Jay-Z on it, and then it said the release date of the album, which I believe, if I'm going to believe Spotify, which I never should, it was November 21st. Um, and they put that date on there, and then it was like, oh, it's been announced that Jay's coming back, and then that's when he started really hitting the radio and stuff, and then eventually we got our first taste with Show Me What You Got. I remember the day that album leaked, Kingdom Come. I downloaded that bad boy. I had some I had some drinks at home. I was home by myself because Angel was in class or something. So it was just me and Brooklyn, me and rest in peace to Brooklyn. And we sat there and listened to Kingdom Come. And I was so happy that I was welling up with tears. Not it was not tears of joy, but I was just so happy that Jay-Z was back and I was a little drunk. Um and
Sorry.
I really was pleased with the album, and I was pleased for several days, maybe even weeks before I let the critical side of my brain start seeping in. So I do respect Kingdom Come's place in Jay's discography. It's not my favorite album. I feel like there's lots of missteps on here, but I feel like in order to get to everything that we've gotten since, including Watch the Throne and 444, we needed to have a Kingdom Come. Jay needed to have a Kingdom Come. And I am, for that reason, I am happy that it does exist. And it did have a moment with me when it first came out.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Um, like I said, the context of the era and the time of this music, and then reflecting on kind of what it means all these years later, I do think there's a lot of value in that. And I think the lesson from this album is, you know, obviously him getting back on his feet and then getting back into the habit of not only rapping but actually putting together cohesive music again. But then, like you said, like from that era after that, um, the Get Throw remix, the Go
Thought it was
Crazy
Get Throwed.
remix,
Yeah.
um, him the collaborations that he would do with Rick Ross,
Oh yeah. The Slim
Maybach
Thug.
Music was
Didn't he have a Slim the Change Clothes
he
remix, the Slim Thug joint? I heard of that.
yeah. So he had
That was
yeah, he
dope.
had the remix to that. So it's like, and so it's funny, like he was kind of doing the Andre 3000 of trying to appear on like the guest verse and then trying to make it hot or whatever. But at the same time, unlike Andre 3000, he was still trying to put out bodies of music. So I think, the album has the bright spots are very bright, the dim spots are very dim, but at the same time, this is kind of the legacy of what I mean, honestly, like musicians, not even just rappers, kind of have like they have musicians should be allowed to make music over long periods of time, and then you can see the different changes and reflections of what that person is, whether the music comes out good or bad. Like this album, even though Blueprint 3 is the cleaned up Stefan or Kel version of this album, the, you had to have Urkel first. So this is his Urkel, but the albums before this, they don't sound anything like Kingdom Come. So he had to go through the fryer to kind of get this one out. But
Yeah, he did.
again, shout out to John Legend for the hook on Do You Want to Ride? So definitely the best hook on the album, probably. And he only says like, no. He says like 5 words. So this is the best hook on the
know
album.
some places we can go. Some places we can go. Spotify has effed up the whole volume 3 track list. And I don't know if Jigga My Nigga and Girl's Best Friend is on here because they were the hidden bonus tracks. And like they have the original OG version of Is That Your Bitch? And they have anything on here, which should be on Siegel's album. So what the hell, Spotify? What the hell? I was just glancing at some album covers. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I was looking at it. You said the track list for Volume 3 is messed up.
Yeah, for volume 3 is all jacked up because they added some stuff, and I don't think the bonus tracks are on there, which is trash.
They do though for if you look at wow, it's I oh if you look at the Blueprint collector's edition, it has like the Blueprint OG bonus tracks there.
I
So
just
that's a good
noticed
thing at
that.
least.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did see that, which is cool. Um, I was just thinking, looking at this Kingdom Come album cover. Uh, would you say this is the worst album cover that Jay's ever done?
Blueprint 3?
No, that the Kingdom Come cover.
Oh. I mean, it's just his face in red. I mean, it's not shit, but it's not creative. I mean, it's like shout out to Jonathan Manning again. He did a Volume 3 cover, and I'm pretty sure that's him. Actually, isn't that him on Volume 1 and Volume 2? I know he did Volume 3 cover.
He did Reasonable. He did Volume 1, 2, 3, Dynasty, Blueprint, Blueprint 2. He did all the covers, honestly. The only ones I'm not sure about is, well, Magna Carta is obviously artwork. I don't know about American Gangster, but I feel like he did that too.
No, I don't think he did American Gangster.
You don't think so?
No. I mean, I would say probably the worst cover is probably Holy. Well, I mean, it's probably 444. It's just 444 in taupe, like, so it's not creative. Like, it's not creative. Like, it's just 444. Like, it's just a fucking timestamp. This is Jay-Z. It doesn't have his name. This is his 13th studio album, and it's like, are they counting the R. Kelly albums? Are they counting Blueprint 2.1?
I've counted this. Literally only, this doesn't include Watch the Throne. This only is his solo albums, and it includes Streets is Watching too. So,
and it doesn't count the fucking Linkin Park, and they made that music from scratch, so that's technically a studio album. They don't count the Linkin Park in this little 13.
It's his 13th solo album, is what it says. So Reasonable, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Dynasty, Blueprint, Blueprint 2, Blueprint 3. I actually went out of order. Black Album, Kingdom Come. So we're up to 10. American Gangsters 11. Magna Carta's 12. 444 is 13. So they don't even count Streets is Watching, actually.
I mean, these motherfuckers, they can't even, like, he can't even count right. That's how you know it's his worst album cover. You don't even get the numbers right, bro. Like get out of here. Just get out of here, Mr. 444, man. Like,
Streets is Watching is available on Spotify, though, so they do have that right. Murdergram, great song. What's a better song? It's Murder, but I do love Murdergram as well.
I've always loved Your Lifetime remix. I've always loved that.
I was just talking about the DMX of it all, but in my Lifetime remix, oh my god, I've tried to rap over that beat and I can't do it because I love the beat too much. It's such a great song. What's the meaning? What's the meaning of life in my lifetime? Are you serious, bro? Hell yeah. Only a Customer's on here too, and that's another jam. That's another jam.
I guess the dismount is something completely off these two albums. Who had the best verse on what we do?
Who had the best verse on What We Do?
Yeah.
On Freeway, you mean?
That song, yeah.
Okay. Shit.
Come on, Kelen. This is very easy. This is very easy, Kelen. Come on now.
There's no wrong answers, to be completely honest with you.
No, there is a wrong answer. So there's only one verse to pick. The best verse on the song, Kelen. Come on now.
I don't want to say the wrong thing. My gut says Hove.
Oh no.
You're going to say Free.
No, it's Beans.
You don't like Free's verse? Free has the worst verse on there?
No, Jay has the worst verse on there.
Why does Jay have the worst verse on there?
Because Beans and Freeway also rapped in that song.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I wasn't even thinking it was Beans. I was going to say Free, and then I pivoted to Jay last second because I panicked. So Beans has the best verse on What We Do.
Of course, yes. Listeners, you rate, subscribe 5 stars, and you put in the comments who had the best verse on What We Do. You do that. But it's literally one of the greatest hip-hop singles of all time.
That it is.
We really need to start respecting it as such. But I mean, same mother, different fathers. Any problems, dog? No, I got him. Still we grind from the bottom just to make it from the bottom. So cracking the alleyway. Come on, man. Like it's Like, come on, Kelen.
I don't think there's any wrong answers though. That's my opinion. So my honest answer would have been Free. I panicked and went J, but Siegel brought it too. So there's no wrong answers to this question. That's my answer.
Which Free verse do you like the best?
The first one.
Okay.
It sets the song off properly, very well. I actually wrote about that song. I don't know if I have it available, but when I did this thing a couple years ago where I did like 31 days of music in December, and I definitely wrote about what we do, and I praised all three MCs for just bringing it and killing it because they all did a great job, I thought. But I can see where Jay has the weakest verse because Jay only had like 8 bars and then he got out.
Well, no, I mean, like, even just say the weakest verse, it every verse is an A verse.
Right.
It's just Beanie is the head of this class in this one. Like, I mean, and you even brought it up. It's on, like, that's it. I think that's probably the best rock collab song between rock artists. Well,
that's a tough one. I mean, Rock the Mic probably has something to say about that.
No, I would still take it on over Rock the Mic. And Rock the Mic is obviously Rock the Mic is a classic single, but I'm taking it on, like,
and
because
or go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, that was just, I feel like it was a song that I wasn't expecting it to be that great. I thought it would be okay. Like, when I first listened to this song, like, it totally blew my mind.
I think Cameron's Rock Posse cut, The Rock, Just Fire, would have something to say about that too, which contains the best Memphis Bleak verse and one of Siegel's best verses. And Cameron came in batting cleanup and did his job well enough. Right. Just Fire is probably my favorite rock collaboration, and Hove's not even on that shit.
All right.
But what we do is definitely super dope as well. Can't knock it. And I can see your point for Siegel, but there's no wrong answers. That's my answer. I should have just said that. Damn it. I'm gonna cut that out and just be like, yeah, that's what I said.
Are you gonna do an outro? I mean, you didn't do an intro, really.
Right, I didn't do an intro. I kind of got to it in the middle. But this has been the first part of our Jay-Z anniversary spectacular. We talked about Kingdom Come, and we talked about Watch the Throne, featuring or co-starring Kanye West. When we next return to talk about the other 2 albums, we will be discussing at length Reasonable Doubt, Jay's debut album from 1996, and The Blueprint, Jay's 2001 album that came out the same day the towers fell in 2001. And we'll be talking about that iconic album. So look forward to that. And Marcus, do you have anything else that you wanted to say? I mean, you already dropped some serious words of wisdom already about X and everything else, but I don't have anything else that I can. What more can I say? Is how I'm going to say. That's how I'm going to end it. That's my dismount.
That's a dismount right there. There you go.
Chia.
Get vaccinated.
Thanks, y'all.